Friends, our good friend of our congregation, Rabbi Rudnick, is here. He's back. I have cursed daylight savings time because I don't like it. But you're the only reason why I like it, because when it's daylight savings time, you have a chance to come to services before sundown. So I'm happy to see you. Although you are causing me a problem tonight. The problem is that Rabbi Rudnick and I sometimes sit together at the Board of Rabbis meetings, and we make fun of things going on under our breath. No, we don't do that. Okay. And I didn't mean to say that, but it's true. Anyway, so it's the end of the meeting, and so Rabbi Rudnick says, "What are you talking about this week, Rabbi Landi?" So I kind of described it to him, and so I'm not going to. I have the message here, but I'm not going to give it because it doesn't fit. It doesn't fit in what I'm feeling at this moment. But the basic message was, and it's a pretty good message. In other words, you're laughing at me. Purim is coming, of course, and the story of Purim is a story of not just this queen and whatever. It's a very bloody story. In chapter 9 of the Megillat Esther talks about how the Jews not only killed the enemies of Haman, I mean the crowd, 500 people, 500 here, they end up killing 75,000 people. And the question that I wanted to raise in the sermon was, so what does that mean to us when we live in a world where there's a war in Israel and innocent people, and I defend the Israelis' right to self-defense, but let's be fair. I mean, there's starvation going on. I mean, there's children dying. I don't care what idea of self-defense is, you cannot be oblivious to that reality. And so the point of my message is there are people who are trying to rewrite chapter 9, and the question is, what kind of chapter 9 do we want? Do we want a chapter 9 where Jews are killing 75,000 people? Or is there another way? I mean, it's a complicated topic, but I'm not talking about that tonight. Because there's something much more poignant that I want to speak about, because you have to talk about the world as it is. You know, I love the royal family, and I've talked about it a lot. I'm fascinated by it. I blame my wife Jane for hooking me on this stuff. And then I met on a plane Princess Beatrice, and she spoke to me, and then I was part of the royal family. So last week we were kibitzing, some of us, about what happened to Kate. And we were joking about it. We thought it was funny, and we thought it was all these things. And so my daughter calls me this afternoon, and she says, "Did you hear the news?" I said, "What are you talking about?" "Princess Kate has cancer." And then I knew there was a message that she gave, and so I watched it. And it shook me up. And it shook me up in a lot of different levels. It shook me up on one level that I was playing a game and getting joy out of a woman suffering, even though I didn't know it. And that really upsets me about myself. You don't do that. That's not something you do. And it was totally innocent, but I feel really guilty about doing that. You don't use other people to play with them. That's not what you do in life. That's not kosher. That's not decent. That's not someone that has derech eretz, that has good manners, a good way about them. So that's my confession, to a certain extent. And it's another thing is about this whole issue of privacy. And I was reflecting before services a little bit on the first chapter of the Megillah, And we know it very well because if you went to Hebrew school, you know anything about the book, about the story of the book of Esther, it's all about Queen Vashti. And Queen Vashti is told by the king, I want you to come. I want you to be here for the men. And the implication is that she was supposed to come probably without any clothes on. And Vashti says, no. No. And you read that story, and it's kind of funny. But then when I think about Queen Vashti now, I think, what was she saying? She's saying is, you know, king, I have a private being. I have a private life. You can't play with my privacy. And then the story becomes so incredibly meaningful about how we don't respect people's privacy, people's private space, how we don't honor it, and how Queen Vashti, in a very powerful way, says, it's not just about being objectified as a woman, it's about saying is, you're not going to take my personhood away from me because you need to, because it's going to amuse you, it's going to serve your purpose. And so as I think about not only our best wishes for Princess Kate, I think about the fact how humiliating it has to be for this young woman who's got this whole world doing all kinds of crazy things, including Rabbi Londi, and her having to go out and film something and say, you know something, friends, I've been sick. I have young children. I have cancer. I had to explain that to them. And how the world should just feel a little bit dirty because that's how we played it. Because I feel a little bit dirty and I'm ashamed of myself. And sometimes you have to be ashamed of yourself. Shabbat shalom.